So this is the Elgato game capture program. As you can see it working right here. It's got the preview pane front and center right here. You've got your stream command options right away down and available to you, showing you the preview as well. You have your capture button, which again obviously you press to start and stop recording. Now you also have something interesting here, which is that you have the ability to go back, pause, and or go forward. Now the pause allows you to primarily use it for streaming, which is that you can actually just pause where you're streaming at. But the back and front buttons can be pretty useful for when you're doing captures and you want to go back and capture a great moment, because this software has what's called flashback recording. So for example, if you got some crazy headshot or you decided to record a funny moment that you missed earlier because some kind of NPC ragdolled somewhere, for example, and it's just absolutely hilarious, you're able to do that because this keeps the video cached. And likewise, you can actually go slightly forward and then see what's going on at that point in the video, so you can make your recordings much quicker and much easier than you can with the other software. And this is the only software that actually has that option for you. Now you can take the snapshot of whatever it is that you're looking at right here. Very nice. It also shows you how long the recording is going on so far. It shows you how much disk space you have left, and while not a file size counter necessarily, it does give you a countdown of how much space you have left, since it is a pretty hefty piece of kit here, recording quite a serious bit rate. You're going to be having very large data sizes. Now, you do have a preview window which you can basically cancel out of, which just disables this right here. And just like on the HD PVR, you have the option to basically mute whatever video that you are looking at right now, meaning that you will not have sound. So the one thing that I do kind of have a problem with here is that when you do want to start recording with audio in this, you do have to push the commentary button. But the nice thing is that you have live access to be able to change the input of your sound, and it does tell you if you end up going too far into the range of the microphone where it ends up being distorted. And you have settings in here to be able to downmix to mono, and you can also change different thresholds in the microphone as well while doing this live. Up top, above that section, you have the live streaming section, which you can adjust the bit rate as you go, and you can have your Twitch or Ustream account in here that you can add manually, as well as the settings for streaming. I'm not going to go over streaming options for any of these pieces of hardware. I'm not a streamer myself, but you can find plenty of videos and tutorials and setup when you do it yourself. Now, the game audio in this case is mostly going to be system audio, but again, you can adjust that on the fly as well. Up in here, you've got the device and basic settings, which in this case tells me that I'm recording at 1080p and 60 frames per second. What you've got in here as well are the Game Capture HD settings. Now, again, fairly standard fare in here. Not much going on. You've got the HDMI input. You can change different consoles up in here. You have the audio input options that you can change, which again, if you have an audio capture card, this is where you would go. And you can change to a slightly better HDMI color range. But again, that's going to cost you quite a bit in space if you do decide to go this way, so make sure you have some big hard drives ready for that one. You can change different profile settings in here, which you can configure in the profiles section, and that's a section that's pretty common between all of these. You can set different profiles for different consoles, which will allow you to basically have a consistent quality for all of your videos. So nothing necessarily new here, but it's nice to be able to have that option to be able to be easily toggled from the capture settings. This is something that Avermedia and the Elgato have in common, which is that you can select profiles from the capture screen pretty much right away without having to mess around with any settings too much. Something that they do have a leg up on the HD PVR specifically. You do have some cropping settings as well, and also the ability to convert standard definition to slightly higher. So if you do have to run a console such as a Wii U with an HDMI port and you plug it into the Elgato, you're able to convert to a higher definition if the game itself is running at a lower one. And you can also decide to stretch that standard definition input to a much bigger screen. Now, just like on the HD PVR, you have standard settings for adjusting the video effects, so brightness, contrast, saturation, and hue to your liking, and this is very nice to have because, again, it's very easy to access and you can change the video quality to your specific needs or make it look however you want. Now this in here is very nice to be able to have when you're recording, for example, a game that may have a lot of sound that just gets annoying after a while, so having this audio gain option here is pretty crucial. Now the profiles, again, you can add your own, and that goes back to the capture settings that you have selected. So once you've chosen specific settings, you can choose to name that profile and add it in here. Now the TV compatibility option is primarily for somebody who's using a TV that's very high in pixel refresh rate. This is primarily true for people who are gamers, gaming on a monitor. Doesn't matter if you're a console gamer or PC, if you have a monitor that supports very high pixel refresh rates, this is where you're going to be in, and the same goes for TVs. Now, I'm not 100% sure entirely how this works, but it tells you that you only want to adjust this if your TV fades to black while connected to the Elgato Game Capture HD. As you can see up top, it's telling me what I'm currently recording in and what the output format is, and those two settings currently match, and there's quite a big output format happening here, as you can see, 11.9 gigabytes per hour. So again, you'd want to have a pretty serious and hefty hard drive if you're going to be recording with this device. Delving a little bit deeper into the settings here, you can choose where you send your videos and where your library is going to be. And again, you have the option to enable flashback recording. Now this is going to cost you some extra hard drive space, so make sure that you have the extra overhead available if you decide to go this route. And you also have the option to enable or disable the streaming capability of the device, which is built in. Now the nice thing is that you're able to share to not only YouTube, but you can also share your videos to Facebook, Twitter, you can share them over email, Apple TV, and you have different options to export to other file formats as well. And again, you can also have webcam input just like on the HD PVR, makes it extremely easy for you, and it's able to mix the live audio in as well. So it's very nice to have this all in here as part of the sharing option, and I think the Avermedia is the only one that currently does not allow you to have webcam input right away. The nice thing is that you can tell this software to update by itself, or you can just untake this and do the updates manually, but it is a nice option to have, as none of the others offer this either. Now this hotkey section basically allows you to tie some kind of keyboard key to a recording button. Now it's interesting that none of the other softwares allow you to kind of have it be nothing in the beginning. They set it for you. Whereas the Elgato decides that you can just input whatever key you want to use right away. The downside is that you do have to set the key manually, but the upside is that it won't interfere with any of your other hotkeys, which is pretty big if you're a PC gamer, because chances are you have macros or hotkeys set up to do different other things. Now, the nice thing is that just like the Hauppauge, you've got video codecs in here, and you're able to select what kind of hardware options you have going in here, and also what kind of stream encoder you're going to use